The 2020 election gave Democrats control of all three branches of government, the House, the Senate, the White House. Democrats had high hopes for major legislation in the areas of infrastructure, voting rights, criminal justice reform, LGBTQ rights, and so much more. Nothing's happening. Why? What's the block? And is there any way to accomplish major legislation for them? My next guest is the author of Unlock Congress, Reform the Rules, Restore the System, and a senior fellow at the Stevenson Center on Democracy. Michael Golden joins me this morning to talk more about the state of the Senate. Michael, good to see you again. It's been a while.
Good to see you, Paul. How are you?
I am good. So all eyes are on Joe Manchin, senator from
West Virginia.
Thank you very much. And he's seen as the block. But the bottom line is Manchin's probably the only Democrat who could ever win in West Virginia. So should Manchin be respecting his constituency, or does he owe it to the country to get on board with progressives?
Well, you always want to respect your constituency. I mean, keep in mind, Joe Manchin's not up for re-election for another 4 years. And you also have to keep in mind, especially on this H.R. 1, this democracy reform bill that's going to turn back gerrymandering and put in ethics rules and dilute the power of the money flood and all of that, all the stuff that's in that book you just showed. Most people are in favor of that across the political board, Paul. I mean, nearly 80% of Republicans, when you break that down, also want our democracy reformed. So, you know, I think that he's going through a lot of motions here, so he can ultimately say, if he does need to you know, break that thing and get rid of the filibuster, hey, I tried everything I could the old-fashioned way. Most people don't realize, though, the filibuster is not even in the Constitution in the first place. It's a made-up rule.
Right.
But that's, I think, what he's kind of doing right now,
It's
Paul.
a rule that could go away. But here's the other thing. By the time the Democrats would get around to getting rid of the filibuster and get some legislation passed, do you have any doubt, Michael, you've watched this process for a very long time, that as soon as Republicans are back in control, which could happen in 2022, given the way the nature of history of elections, that the Republicans will just undo it all? They'll have the and make things even worse for Democrats. In other words, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, it's a great question. It's a totally fair question. And we already know part of the answer, because 3 years ago, Mitch McConnell, who was he never wanted to ruin the filibuster, never wanted to get rid of it, always wanted to have 60 votes. But as soon as he had a shot at getting one judge, and he got 3 onto the Supreme Court, he got rid of the filibuster. So we approved Supreme Court justices now with a majority vote, which, by the way, is how the Constitution laid out. There's 5 scenarios in the Constitution where you'd need a supermajority, and legislation of judges aren't one of them. So you know, this is going to go back at a certain point. To the point of your question, the question is when. And Democrats don't get majorities in both chambers on the Hill and the White House all that often. Yeah. They want to do big things. They're going to have to take real action. But again, they're going to have to cajole Manchin to get him on board with it.
So the flip side to, if they get rid of the filibuster, Republicans will undo everything when they take control. Here's another aspect to that. Some people believe if Republicans take control in 2022, especially in the Senate, that Mitch McConnell, well, he'll just get rid of the filibuster anyway and then come up with some great, you know, historical reason why it's the appropriate and right thing to do at that time.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, and we already know, because he did it 3 years ago on judges. I mean, look, when Justice Ginsburg passed, I wrote something the next day and kind of said to the Democrats, "Are you going to learn the lessons that the Republicans teach you or not?" And you know, and Ruth Ginsburg, she understood hardball politics, even though she was a justice. You could tell she did not hide that now and again. And so the Democrats did. They finally got the majority just by a hair, and the White House, and they want to do big things. By the way, the rescue plan, most people were in favor of, and it passed. And the infrastructure bill that we're talking about now is very, very popular. So it's not like this is a massive risk that Joe Manchin's taking. He's sticking up for this principle of the filibuster that a lot of people disagree with to begin with, but he doesn't need to on these things, because most people are in favor of them. And you see even 5 Republicans now breaking with the pack and negotiating and coming up with the package. They may get to 60 votes anyway. Yeah. So in a way, there's a lot of drama for nothing, Paul. And you're absolutely right. When the time comes, Senator McConnell, as the leader, has proven that he will play hardball to get done what he wants to get done. He'd rather not get rid of the filibuster.
Yeah.
He says he's an institutionalist,
Right.
but all you have to do is look at his track record.
Right. And listen, Republicans are pretty smart, because even though they didn't vote for the COVID package at all, they certainly took credit for a lot of the provisions for restaurants and such when they got home to their districts. What do you think, historically speaking? Some, like our own Senator Dick Durbin, has said that the end of the filibuster is the end of our deliberative body as we know it. He doesn't see it that way now. So did he change, or did the Senate change?
Look, I have a lot of respect for Senator Durbin. And look, there's a lot of senators who would prefer to think of the Senate as this the world's greatest deliberative body, which it used to be called and now seems silly these days. So they want to retain that sort of patina of bipartisanship and negotiation and compromise. And I'm for all of that stuff. But we're in a different age now. We've kind of exhausted that to a certain degree. And our government is supposed to run on majority rule. So I don't think that's the case. In fact, if they reformed the filibuster and just made people talk on the floor the way they used to, then you'd have actual deliberation. Paul, the way it is now, one person, one senator in a country of 330 million people can just say, I'm going to filibuster that, and he can hold up all the nation's business.
And Michael,
that is not how it was. These rules were designed in the Senate first place.
About 20 seconds to let you answer this question. With the filibuster in place, Democrats don't accomplish very much, and they're often seen as weak, and that'll be the Republican argument in 2022. Look, they did nothing. They're weak. They had control. How would you fight that? You're a strategist. 10 seconds for that.
Well, say what you did. The rescue plan, probably some infrastructure is going to pass. Show the concrete things that you've done to voters. That's what they want to see. The rest is sort of a lot of hot air.
Yeah.
What have you done? What are you going to do? What's the plan? And show me the track record that says you can accomplish it. And that's why Joe Biden wants to negotiate and compromise and get anything done right now.
All right. Michael Golden, thanks for your time and your insight. We'll talk to you again soon, my friend. Thank you. We're going to take one last break. We'll be right back.